everybody. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Learn, Create, and Grow webinar series brought to you by the Technicolor Creative Studios Academy. I'm Annabelle, and I'm a training coordinator here at the TCS Academy. I will be your host for today's webinar. It is great to see so many of you join us here today. We'd like to see you stick with us until the end of the webinar to win a chance to receive some amazing goodies. So far, we have had 3 enlightening episodes in this webinar series, where we ventured into tech animation and VFX, and 3D digital matte painting. Before I get into that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Technicolor Academy. The Academy not only gives us first-hand exposure into the fascinating field of creative technology, but also affords the artists the chance to learn more about VFX and animation at no cost. Here's another interesting fact. The Academy isn't specific to just one location or discipline, but an array of disciplines, and we recruit people from all around the world. The classes and sessions, which are led by some of the finest and most experienced in the industry for each discipline, are generally spread over 4 to 14 weeks. The artists and students are given assignments, and they receive constant feedback through live virtual classes to assess their progress. I want to welcome you all to this session, where you will learn the basics of Katana, a tool used in VFX lighting. Before we get to the main event of this webinar, allow me to introduce Subhash Chandran, our speaker. Subhash has more than 15 years of diverse experience in the animation, visual effects, and advertising fields. He has served as a lighting supervisor on several movies, including White Tiger, The Hundred, Ambulance, Sweet Girl, and Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. He is currently working with Technicolor Creative Studios as a lighting instructor. Subhash enjoys time learning new tools and techniques because he is motivated to create paintings with a holistic approach, using both traditional and digital techniques. We have a chat box where you may ask us questions so that we can provide you with the best support possible. Any questions you may have on lighting are welcome, as are any struggles and experiences. Your questions will be responded to as soon as they come in by Subhash and crew.
Hello. Today we will speak about lighting, one of the fascinating division in the VFX industry. If you are new in VFX lighting, these sessions will be explain what it is and what are the technical aspects behind lighting, along with the basic lighting work inside Katana we'll cover today. The most important role of lighting in films is to communicate with their audience through the right mood and emotions. How they should feel about that moment, it's very important to convey the mood of that particular scene. For example, the brightness and colorful light brings a cheerful mood, whereas a dark and shadowy images invokes a feelings of mystery and foreboding. So lighting is actually incredibly important in all aspects of film productions, and it has a strong sense of visual storytelling without saying any dialogues. If you could change the color of the light and positions of the light, sometimes even the absence of the light, the audience would receive a context clue about that particular scene. Because in every lighting conditions, there is a boundary to define what they really want to tell us. For example, consider the lighting in horror films. There are abnormal color changes can indicate hallucinations, dreams, and past encounters. Lighting is heavily utilized building your character and easily communicate with different emotions. And with a well-utilized brightness and shadows, it can be make an audience to more intensive about that actor in that particular shots. If cast your subject in a bright light and the audience feel they are good and something positive going to be happening in that story. In other hand, if you put your character in the shadowy side, it's easily interrupted and portrayed. There's a mysterious in that scene. So the lighting is a super tool to define the personality of your character. And it's the most obvious channels through which to represent the genre of your film. If the scene is well lit, perhaps it's a comedy or romantic movie. On the other hand, the genre like films noir having made excellent use of high light ratios where your subject is placed in light and shadows will be leading up at different shades in the movie. Lighting in VFX really follows a similar production process to live action with a numerous department typically working together. Since any filmmakers increasingly rely on visual effects to fulfill their thoughts, sometimes the imaginary world may not exist in anywhere, right? So this is the only way to do all this to create through digital. So this will be let the filmmakers to think creatively outside the box. Moreover, in other sides, the time and money savings is a part of production quality. Before beginning a VFX shot, we required few data from vendor to create a visually and technically accurate shots. Understanding their lighting techniques in live action, such as high key, low key lighting, hard lighting, soft lighting. The VFX lighting demanding a final scan plates along with the references and other lighting data like HDRIs of that particular shots will be help us to mimic the same lighting condition in digitally basically. So as I said, the scan, the more you observe the back plate, the things will be much easier to match everything with the plate. The most of the cases we may receive the data like gray, chrome board, and along with MacBook chart and on-set shoot wise HDRIs, and furthermore like a witness camera images, and definitely this will be help us to identify the actual positions of the light. So if I'm getting a witness camera images, I'm able to understand the totality of the set. I can still see where that actual positions of the light. So according to that, I can act in the digitally. Next is like if there are any possibility to get LiDAR will be help in lighting to get accurate positions on set lighting. I'm not going to detailing on LiDAR, but it's basically a point cloud data for that particular set. So if you're able to visualize the same point cloud in seen as a mesh data to find the position of the light. And this guy is mostly in tune with modern tracking and CG pipeline requirements. Other things we can collect data from set is like, the type of the light and temperature they are being used. And sometimes a light meter will help us to measure the amount of light in the scene. So I request you all to spend some time to understand the on-set details like size of the light, exposure, and position of the light will be a starting point to setting up the lighting scenes inside any 3D applications. And there are other possibilities. Sometimes in worst case scenarios, we'll not get any data from vendor. So in this case, you must have an idea, basic idea of the cinematography to track down all these exercises. It's not so easy anyways, but once you get an experience in lighting, things will be much easier to give it to an assumptions or like proper eyeballing to work to find the light position with the help of shadow position. We can definitely match things in a better way. Sometimes we need to download HDRI from internet and grade it back to short plate. This kind of situation, we need to give a keen observation of the plate and extract maximum input for your work. Also, we can request references from vendor of your get a similar kind of references from internet to start a shot with the help of lighting lead or supervisor. Always take a look on look dev table to get an initial idea of that particular asset's look in neutral lighting conditions. So the look dev will be the department before us to make all this, the final look for us in lighting. So we can, at any time, we can go back and check how the things is happening in that asset in the neutral lighting condition. Then we can do the same exercise in lighting with our own set lighting. So it's if it is a complete shot, we can ask references images to lighting lead or supervisor. They may ask to creative artist to get a rough sketch for your further work. After that, CG element needs to be integrated with live actions played. It's a big challenge, and the VFX artist needs to work very closely as a director of photography and gaffer in real cinemas to deconstruct their techniques and replicating back into digitally through softwares. So there are few important points I need to tell you to consider in that cases. The positions of the light, that light source means how far from the subject. It's very essential. And the exposure can judge through the highlight of the scenes to understand a basic idea of the light in this particular lighting exposure. Finally, shadow sharpness and softness will help us to judge the size of the light. Type of the light sources they were using in movies can still find any cinematographic lighting document pages in the internet. In addition, we have to check the light filters are being used or not, like blockers, any bounce card setups. So if you're working in a sequence, we need to check other shot in the set lighting continuity. If it's not matching, then we need to manipulate our light rig accordingly. But this discussion should be happen between you and your lighting lead and whoever responsible to give a final feedback. Now I'll be explain a bit more on HDRA. A better HDRA will be always to get an accurate results no matter of time. HDRA will be hold a lot of lighting informations, will allows us to set up the ambience of a scene. In an HDRA, each pixel is stored using a 32-bit values. That means holding billions of lighting informations to store real-world brightness values along with the reflection of that location. The execution is like in location, we need to collect all the exposure with different angle, then stitching all these images to make a 360-degree spherical images in a rectangular format. This images is then being used to image-based lighting, and it's mapped on a dome surface and the lighting condition of the particular light sets. All these ideas will help you to use lighting in the appropriate way, but there are still a few more things I need to cover. Because of the time limit, I'm not able to make it, but that's okay. We'll meet you in Lighting Academy. Lighting Academy in Technical will help you to standardize any level artist to make a production ready. So we have a 9 to 10 weeks modules. We're starting from the basic foundations of lighting and with advanced production lighting along with the different sessions like composition and in detail color theory classes. These are all will help you the candidate to find the best place in our industry. Then we have sessions including problem solving like optimizing a scenes, finding the best possibility to get that job done in farm. So this kind of exercise will help you to find the best balance between the creative and technical aspects. So this will be able to find yourself to go over the creative side or technical side in the department. The other major areas like the trainers will be share their on-set experience, how they are working in real cinemas and their supervision experience. It's like a package of knowledge. Will get you in 9 to 10 weeks, which is the great thing I feel. So we have a different assignments scattered in every week and like every day basically. Basically the review will be happening weekly basis. Yeah. So like the basic lighting, look development, VFX lighting and VFX lighting. All these exercises will be there, and more often you will be get in connection with your lighting lead and HOD to review to help. That will be help to improve your shots. And the interesting part is like the academy is spreading throughout all over the world. So we'll be able to connect virtually on different areas to share their thoughts and throughout the curriculums. And this will be a great opportunity for the candidate who connected over the other side of the world to improve their team spirit and communications and soft skills. After that, these assignments and their feedbacks, then the best candidates will be hired into available roles in any business units at technical studios, along with the demo reels and certificate of completion from one of the best VFX studio in the world. And so it's a right. I feel this is the right opportunity for those who are willing to make a life in lighting. My name is Subhash Chandran, lighting trainer at Technical Studio. Will be here to help you guys to find the best possibility in lighting through all these courses. And most welcome to VFX lighting. The tool for dedicated lighting work is Katana. We'll be using in Academy. Will allows us to an uninterrupted workflow, which means like very less, a software crash. The positive part is like they can handle millions or trillions of polygons with less amount of memory. So this will be help our artists to focus more towards to lighting than any technical difficulties. For me, it's very exciting moment to share my experience with Katana. So the next plan for the day is I'll take you through the basic foundations of Katana, and then we are going to light up a small scenes along with some frequently used nodes in Katana. If you can see, the approach for today is to starting from how we can call assets inside Katana and preparing the basic lighting setups and gray, and then assigning all the preset shaders along with the light tweaking, and then moving to the final stage of rendering. In between, I'll try to cover most frequently used in Katana nodes along with their parameters.
Thanks, Subhash. That was a great session. Before we continue, let's take a quick break and have a round of trivia, where you have the chance of winning some great goodies from Technicolor Creative Studios. All you need to do is listen to the question carefully and put your answers in the chat box as fast as you can. Who invented the light bulb? What artist was known for his use of light and shadows in his paintings? you have posted your answers, our team will reach out to the winner via email. Please keep an eye on your inbox. Now that we are all familiar with what the Academy offers, for anyone who would like to further understand the process of applying to the Academy better, tap on the link you see on the top right of your screen. You will also find links to our previous webinars on our website in the description box.
So I'll quickly share my screen now. I hope now you can able to see my Katana interface. Before we step in, I'll give you a brief introduction to Katana. If you can see, the Katana is a node-based look, data, and lighting tool. As I said before, its interesting part is you will be spend lesser amount of time to figuring out the technical issues, and here you get more amount of time to do your actual job. The thing is like, some scenes will have the millions of polygons to work with, and frequently other tools will be failed to reach the first pixels. This moment, Katana will have that potentials to manage the scenes without any backlog. To be more clear, she has an ability to handle millions of polygons with less amount of execution time. That will be leading up to reduce your production stress. Katana can even reduce man-hours simultaneously. Katana can handle multiple shots within one project for a mass render submissions will allow us to speed up the production process. If you see Katana and Node are the same foundry family, the bridge is too strong between these two applications. Like if any adjustment done after lighting in Nuke through the light adjustment nodes, we'll have that possibility to send back the same parameters back to Katana. So the next iterations will be the same what we have so far adjusted in the Nuke. So this way we can improve our shots with lesser amount of time. So today's exercise file you can find under PRMan wiki page. We have a scene of cockroach and halfway between crocodile and ostrich. We are using the same file to set up today. Now I'm jumping back to Katana. So we can see the basic layout of Katana. So we can change this layout according to our operations. If you put left mouse button and drag left or up, we can split your windows. You see this one, right? Yeah. Now I'm splitting my windows to this way. So my window is split into two parts. So I can select any window, depends upon your split. So here I'm changed to catalog, and I can close this window if you don't want. So this way you can customize your window. If you want to create a new window, then you can simply left click and put it on the left side. You can create a new window there. So once you're happy with the layout setup, you can save this layout by going to layout, then save current layout and save this one or list. Yeah, test the file and save it. All right. So the current layout is being saved. So if I'm going to switch back to lighting layout, so this is the preset layout anyway. We're going to switch back to the newly created layout, which is like test, just now we created. So this way we can customize our layout, what kind of job we are doing, and you can prepare layout. If you are more into technical side, then definitely you need all the Python, the command shelf and everything. So according to that, you can prepare your layout. Going back to lighting now, it's already been well organized. This is enough for me to start a job in lighting. So now I quickly go to the setups of Katana. Then after that, we'll move on the exercise. On top left, we have the monitor. This is where actually see your render images. Then we have in right side, the 3D viewer will be available to visualize your 3D scenes. Next to catalog, this area you can find the index of all of your render we made so far for testing in monitor. So it is like connected between these two guys. Next thing is like parameter. You can see right on right side. This will be allows us to show the functions of in every node will be created in the node graph. So we can edit and change the parameters according to the work. So moving down into scene graph, these areas on the bottom left, this become more similar to Maya Outliner to visualize the hierarchical representation of your scenes. A lot of things to do with this one. This pane will be help you to find the path of the geometric shapes and different group nodes with different stages. Like it is like a different hierarchical representation, like lighting, camera, and everything will be in separate sessions. So that will be I'm going to cover on next sessions. We'll get an idea from there. So in every node in Katana, typically having a view and flag node to see on the viewport as well as on the parameter side. On the right hand side, you can simply see the node graph area, which is we can create the major operations of the node. So we can create any node. This is currently I'm creating anything, just import automatic. In every node in Katana, typically having a view flag and the edit flag. View flag will be always in blue color and edit flag will be in a green color. A view flag will be allows us to see everything in the scene graph, and the edit flag will be help to edit the parameters of that particular node. And the node graph tag will be take care of the major operations. The windows will be allows us to serve input for all the major operations. And the next one is like render log. Render log will be having an internal communication between all the nodes. And this will be help you to figuring out if any technical problems will be comes out. So we can solve while being reading these render logs, just like similar Maya render logs. Yeah, that's all about and definitely UV, the UV viewer and curve editor and dope sheet. It's all been the very similar to Maya. So you guys already been aware about all these things. I don't want to explain anyway. So these are the basic tab you need to be getting as a starting point to a successful learning experience in Katana. Okay. So I'm going to import Alembic data inside Katana. For those who are new into the word Alembic, so it's basically a file format, just like BJ or FBX. The most common format is widely adapted throughout the industry. For that, I'm using a node, Alembic in. So this node will be help me to import Alembic data from my locations. You can see this one here. There is an ABC assets here. So I'm going to drag my Alembic file here. So I'm going to take from my Alembic location, taking this guy. Accept. Yeah. So the Alembic is imported. I'm just double clicking it. I'm not able to see anything right now. So I'll explain that. Then definitely after importing Alembic, and we need to enable these options, add to camera list, make it as, yeah, done that. So why we are enabling this one? Yes, in most of the cases, we are receiving cameras from different departments like camera tracking, sometimes even layout. So they are publishing the camera for us, for lighting, right? They are publishing along with the assets. We need to turn on this guy to enable that camera in that particular scene. So if you go back to here, I'm getting this camera, right? See, if I make it no, maybe I'm not getting this camera. See, this camera is getting disabled because it's not taking the published camera from Alembic data. So it'll make it on. So now it's enabled, yes. So I need to visualize this one to the viewport. So for that, I need to go back to scene graph here, right click and expand all. This will allows me to expand all, the geometries inside that Alembic. Why you want to expand always like this? Because sometimes, as I said before, Katana is handling millions of polygons, even suppose she cannot handle, some extent. So that case is we can simply hide the unwanted object, not really looking for, suppose I'm just collapse this teeth mesh or body mesh, see. So I can still see the other part of the area, right? Which we can work on that particular assets when we are working in a heavy scenes. This way, this will be very useful to work with in Katana. So currently this is very simple scene, so I'm just expanding everything. So I'm just importing my Alembic into my scene. Before doing any exercise, I need to prepare this. First, I need to see the basic lighting condition, because in lighting we usually work on the QC side, right? So this will be allows us to find the problems at the initial stage. Always be ready to do a quick QC before starting any job. So this will be identify the problems like maybe there is a floating asset issues, maybe the other issues like normal issues, then double side issues. A lot of issues will be come across in different department. So we can rectify at the initial stage and we can send it back to the department and fix it back and get it back to the lighting. We can start do the lighting than waiting for the final render. Then we are sending back to other department. This will be a crazy problems, right? So for that, I need to quickly create one light setups for this one. I'm using a gaffer tree. Gaffer tree is a super tool to create lighting. So we are using Gaffer tree just like in a group. You can say that these things will be allows us to create to be make more organized a structure of your lighting. So inside that you can create your own light, and now I'm just creating a normal light. Add PRMan light, then selecting dome light. Yeah, this is enough for me now to test. Then after that, I need to render this one. For rendering in Katana, we need a certain node for that. PRMan global statements. Connecting to PRMan global statements. So PRMan global statement will allow us to find what are the render will be used in the rendering. So this time I'm using PRMan, which means like Pixar renderman, correct? So this time I'm using Pixar renderman to render my job. Their own render global settings being used because we are using in V-Ray settings in Maya, just like that. We are using PRMan globals because this is like node based. Anything wants to create will be in a node. So anything will be going back to the first position will be easy that compared to Maya or any other tool. Yeah. So PRMan global statement. Then after that, render settings node. Yes. In PRMan global statements, this is the basic, adjustment like pixel variance is the variance samples, the max samples and the minimum samples, just like an adaptive samples. Maybe I'm going to give 64 and give 4. Yes. This value is a bit too much, but let it be there. Let's see. Then render settings. In render settings, I need to select the camera. They're asking about a camera. Render settings will be the basic setups of, and it's holding a camera data and the resolution definitely. Then if there is an overscan, that value should be there. Then these are the parameters, the basic parameters available in render settings. In render settings, I'm pulling my camera. So this is my render camera here on the left side. Then I'm, select this one and dragging to my location. Then giving a resolution of HD. Yeah, 920 to 1090, fine. Then this will be give you an adjustment on your margin. Right. Then after that, I'll add a final render node. Will allows me to render the things properly. Yeah, correct. So right click. So I need to render this one, right? For that, I need to preview this render. There is an option here. We just directly right click and make a preview render here. So it's able to render now. Yes. So I can now visualize, my assets in the monitor. So as I said, it's same way it's created everything in catalog. So what are the tests we made in the monitor will be saved under catalog. So after after a while we can check the status so far we made for that particular asset. Yeah, enough. Just escaping for now. Yeah. So this way I can check my things, So and there is another options, to render everything in interactive ways, just like an IPR render in Maya. So if we go all the way here and yeah, these options render shift hold means it will be select the entire geometry to send render. If you not really want to render some some geometries, you have this option. If you don't want to render teeth, then you can disable this guy and this will not render without teeth, right? So this will be help you to render everything fast in Katana. If your scene is super heavy, then this is the option. You can just untick unnecessary, then you can quickly launch to the farm to test the lighting. So this is the one, I feel this is one of the important options in Katana. So I'm just enabling all before doing any live render, because we need to enable everything basically. Yeah, going back to here, then live render. So this is like an interactive render. What are the things we made in the scene, will be interact with this guy. So this way you can render, in lively into viewport. Now we need the gray ball and chrome ball uh, to check the lighting conditions. For that, I need to call one more Alembic here. Just creating Alembic in, then calling that particular asset here. Macbeth, yeah, ref sphere. Selecting this guy. This time I don't want any camera along with this one, right? So I'm just leaving that now. Then connecting to merge node. This one here, I'm not able to see anything here because it need to expand everything back. Expand all. So yeah, it's too small somewhere here in this area. So I need to make very close to the subject to judge my lighting. So for that, selecting this one and right, I'm creating a transform 3D. Then make interactive. Yes, this will enable me, to interactive pivot in the viewport, so I can simply manipulate there. So I'm not able to see anything because I need to give a right path here for that particular asset. Then I'm giving a reference peer GRP group. This is the group is holding your chrome sphere along with your gray sphere. So I'm pulling this group, the entire group here in this area. Then see, now I'm able to see my pivot. Right? Yeah. So merge. Alright, it's already been there anyway. It's under the leg. Make it big and will be this much. Put it back somewhere here. I'll check you through the camera. Maybe, yeah. And slightly front side. Okay. Selecting the perspective and pushing to front side. I feel the spear is a little bit overly, stale. Maybe I'm just bringing back to some extent. Yes. Yeah. This is just for testing. Keep it somewhere. Okay, perfect. So that's enough. So enable once again the live render. Yeah, able to see now. All right. So I need to assign shade for gray and chrome for this particular sphere to see everything right. So for that, again, pulling all this hierarchy down here. So assigning material, we need to create a material node. So this will be first of all create a material. Then there is one more node which is called an append material. Will be assigned for that particular thing, right? So material, selecting the material, adding this guy here, then creating one material, clicking the add shader, then BXDF, the Pixar RenderMan shader. Then inside the BXDF, selecting a surface shader, Pixar surface, just like a V-Ray surface shader or a Mental Ray, just like a surface shader, right? So the surface shader. So it's 80% gray. That's okay. Perfect. So this is my first material. Underscore matte. Select the material created. So I need to assign this material to this geometry, the gray geometry. Right? So for that, I'm creating one more node, material assign node, which will be allows us me to assign the material. I'm creating this one, and I'm change this name to MA. MA means material assign. Then gray. That's a material assign node of MA gray. Then it's created, already been created. Yeah. Then I'm going to select. There is a rule, different rule setups available in, and we have different path setups. This is like basically a collection group. You can create your own collection group and call these collection groups in different areas. So this way we can treat like your the template will be more sophisticated, like uninterrupted workflow. So those are the people who are working after you, so will be able to identify the file is like in a cleaner way. So I'll show you that how the group things are working here just quickly. So basically I'm calling my path here for now. Click a path, then I'm going to call the chrome and gray. So now I'm taking the gray here and just middle mouse button and drag and drop into this way here. Then it's asking the material assign. So the material I need to take this guy. Just open this guy here. So just now we created the gray material just above this one, right? So it's available in a different hierarchical structure under the material. So selecting this one and drag it here. So now just connected to that. So we need to test this one is working or not. Just rendering again. Because it's newly created. That's what the live render is not really updating. Yeah, now the material is got assigned. So I feel everybody got an idea how the material is assigned. So you don't want to really worry about this exercise because it's most commonly will created by Look Dev team. So they will publish you for you the final look files. So you don't want to worry about these things. The next thing I need to assign a shader for this one, like a reflection shader. Then just copy this one quickly. Maybe I'm just paste it just above this one. Now I'm changed to Chrome. Chrome matte. Then checking that parameters. This way, for this one I need a full spectra, right? Giving a one value. Let's see how things is working. Then definitely I need to assign this one to raw material, correct? So I'm just copy again this guy to paste one more round. Then I'm going to give this one name to material assign MA underscore chrome. Then definitely we need to change the path. So I'm deleting this path now. Calling chrome bold path here, and I'm just connecting the latest materials to this one. So the material part is created for this one. Yeah. So I'm just quickly doing a live render. Yeah. Now I am able to see, a reflective surface and a 80% gray. So moving on back to this one. So now I'm looking for just a shading, what for this particular character. Just moving this one, everything to other. So there is a, if I want to make a backplate getting more organized. So if you want to pass this file to some other guy, so he wants to work on this file, right? So for that we need to prepare a clean file to pass to other fellow lighters. So for that I need to create a backplate for this one. Backdrop here. Then selecting everything together with backdrop. Then if you go to edit backdrop node to select a node, so it will be fit into that place. Then you can select if it is Okay. Yeah. Yes. So you can name it, your area. So when I'm working on when I'm passing to other guy, so it'll be easy. He's getting an easy idea. This is the chrome board, gray board, material setups. So this way you can organize your scene. You're perfect. As I said before, I'll just quickly create a collection groups. This node will be allows us to create any collections here. Then you can give a location of that one first. So where you want to put that collection group. So I'm going to put my collection group just underneath the root. So I'm just pulling my root here. So this is way you can find a location to place your collection groups. So I'm just putting my collection group just underneath the root location. Then I'm giving a custom UA. So this way you can add a rule to find your collection group to rename to CC a sphere. So this way you can I'm creating a collection group for gray sphere. Calling that collection group. Yes, make it to the left side. Yeah, gray. Then if you make a star after this, I want to check it's working or not. I'll explain one more thing. Select this one and it's working. It's selecting now. So why means it calling the entire hierarchical name here. Then I'm giving a I'd call it entry like after the star gray sphere ID gray geo, which is this group, and anything after this group going to be selected. So there is an R symbol is connected with asterisk, so it is going to be select whatever the object inside that. You can call this group into like look development or anything in the same. So yeah, now it's working. I'm creating one more group here. Then I'm calling this to CG sphere and CC K sphere. Now I'm changing this name to Chrome, Chrome sphere. I want to fill name now. Yeah. So doing the same thing to Chrome sphere, I'm just selecting this group. I'm not selecting the mesh. I'm just selecting the group and putting on your statement here. Then, sorry, in UA to select and delete this guy. Select to custom UA. Then start. We need to connect a collection name here, right? We are missing that. Yeah. And maybe copy paste CC gray. Then we are naming this one to CC Chrome. Correct. So the two collections group is created under this one. You can see this one, CC Chrome and CC gray. So going back to this position in gray, just deleting that and creating a collections here. Then gray, pulling my gray collection group here. Then Chrome, do the same exercise. I'm deleting this guy, then adding a collection. Then I'm pulling my Chrome collection here. So ideally this should be rendered, right? We'll see that. It's rendering. Perfect. So it's always, to work with a collection group, it's very important. You should take care, just create your collection group. Then you can call that collection group into different areas in anywhere you want. Like in material design, you can call that collection group instead of drag and drop your path. For that, PRMan global statements. Connecting to PRMan global statements. So PRMan global statement will allow us to find what are the render will be used in the rendering. So this time I'm using PRMan, which means like Pixar RenderMan, correct? So this time I'm using Pixar RenderMan to render my job. Their own render global settings being used because we are using in V-Ray settings in Maya, just like that. We are using PRMan globals because this is like node based. Anything wants to create will be in a node. So anything will be going back to the first position will be easy that compared to my own any other two. Yeah. So PRMan global statement. Then after that, render settings now. We'll be more organized to this one now. Looking back to this one here. Select this one. Yeah. Bitmap. So two more collection group I'm quickly creating now. So CC, copying this guy, paste it here, and creating this name, Galvez, the asset name. So I'm just rename this one CC underscore Galvez. There it is. Control C, name it to root, rename this one. Then adding a cell command here. Yeah. Custom UA, giving custom UA command. Then connecting to this one here. Then one more hash and star. Whatever things inside the group will be selected. So I'll see if everything is selected or not. Go to here, find and select in scene tab. Yeah, it's selecting. Perfect. So I need one more group again for the ground. Yeah. Here we are going to replace this one. This time CC ground. Right. So copy this one and rename this one to here. Then yeah, I'm going to delete this path to ground. So I need to select the ground. So I need to figure it out where it is. Yeah, this is the ground mesh. Selecting ground mesh. Okay, going to add together. Yes. Start. So I'm now able to select the ground by the rule. So I'm just deselecting this one and check whether it's selecting or not. Yeah, it's selecting. Perfect. Creating a backplate for this one. Backdrop here. Then selecting everything and fit to back. Then this time calling CC collection group maybe. Giving red color. Okay, perfect. So it is being organized, the collection group for the collection group is created and we have the material as I think you guys get an idea how things are working inside, right? This is more or less the actions. We usually get the file and we need to create the collection group. Once you get the file, we'll create all the collection groups. I think the collection group will be available. This exercise usually will be done by seniors, sometimes supervisors or lighting lead who are responsible to do that. So they will do a basic template for you and they'll pass all this template for you to short work. Maybe you guys, the initial stage of your career, you need to work only on lighting side, not on this side. But once you get an idea, then you should take a part of, to work on the template level. Yeah, but you should understand how the principles, very important. Now we will move into look dev side and we are going to assign the basic materials to that particular character. So I'm taking that character and assigning the base body shader. Then after that, we are assigning all the preset shaders along with their parameters. Then we are then moving to lighting. After that, we'll do the final rendering. So I know this part will be like little bit tricky and sometimes even getting bored, because you guys are in the starting stage, right? So once you get an upper hand in Katana later stages, then these things will be much easier. Then I'm going to create a new node, like to assign a default material to that body. Network material, creating a node here. So this is like just a framework. So inside that we need to assign a shader, then we need to call this network material on top of the body. So this time I'm calling this network material body network material. So yeah, it's assigning only for that body. Then creating a PSN PRMan shading groups. So I'm change the name to Pixar surface body. Yeah, it's created now. Then going back to here, connecting a terminal now. That should be VXDF anyway. Then that terminal is just created right here, right? Then in VXDF, in Pixar body, I need to connect a surface shader. So we have the PSN and there is a group inside, Basically you can tell like this is like a network inside. We are creating one more material that is Pixar surface. In this Pixar surface, you can see there is multiple parameters there to adjust. So currently I'm working on the diffuse. I'm going to connect a diffuse map here. Then after that, there is a specular map needs to be connected, then along with roughness. So for these three connections, you will get an idea how things are connecting into a material property. So to call a texture inside, again, one more framework I need, right? So that should be PSN and again, just creating on top of it. Then this time I'm calling texture, Pixar texture. So the exercise is, if you want to connect anything in Katana, then we need a node to support that connection. So please keep in mind, just not like we cannot simply drag and drop and connect, just like my aim. So please take a note for this. Yeah. Then I'm going to change this name to Pixar texture underscore body underscore diffuse. So in every node, must be renamed because if this file is going to pass to some other area, then you get a proper idea, what that particular node is doing. Yeah. Then in file name browse, selecting to diffuse, accept. So here you go. We can, you see this one, right? There are different diffuse materials here. Basically, these are multiple images, and they are painted into multiple UV sets basically. So these UV sets created by either Mari or Substance Painter. So we need to call all these images into the same UV plate. For that, we need to add some rules at the end point. Yep. Just changing the name and calling UDIM and post bracket. So it's able to call the entire sequence. So style should be changed to UDM and linearize. So the exercise is so far done. So I'm going to connect. Just keep in mind. Just check how I'm going to connect. So select this one, output. I'm going to take an output from this one. I'm connecting to the base. It's PXR PDI. Then definitely in Pixar body we have to connect. The shader for the diffuse channel, right? We already created a texture here. So we need to connect to diffuse. So select this one. Right now I'm connecting the entire RGB because it's holding the color information. So I'm selecting everything and click here. I'm able to see a list of content. So my plan is to connect everything to diffuse, right? So diffuse color, it's connected to diffuse. So that exercise is done. So I need to check it's working on. So for that, I'm creating a merge node to integrate this one with my main hierarchy, creating a merge node here, connecting to this material. Yeah, no, nothing is happening because I'm still not assigned my node, right? So I'm going to assign my node, material assign, just creating a material assign node here. Then this time a collection group we already been created anyway, right? So I'm this time selecting a collection group. So we have a collection group here. I'm pulling this guy to here. The collection group is added in the list. Then they're asking a material. So just now we created, right? So that body network material needs to be called here. So that's done. Yeah, you can see this one, right? The texture is got assigned. Great. So I'll go back to the main material. I'll do some adjustment here to see the specular highlights. Yeah, change to physical, maybe zero 0.5. So I can still see some specular, see this one, the specular highlights. Then definitely we need to work on the specular and adding different breakup on top of it. Change to GGX, like a Fresnel kind of reflection. Okay, this time I'm going to copy one more round here, calling as spec. Yes. Then browse according to specular color. Accept. We'll do the same exercise what I did before. The remaining utils, right? So I'm going to connect this one now. Again to specular edge color. Yeah, I'm getting a specular highlights somewhere in the bottom part. So what happened, it's connecting to this part, the specular edge color. Just now we adjusted, that area we connected a map. So we need some roughness on top of it, right? So for that, I'm just creating one more map, just only for that roughness. Connecting a rough mark. Just selecting this guy and change to roughness. Yeah. Again, we have a sequence here. Just changing to UDM. Done. Click here. Red channel I'm taking, connecting to roughness. Now the roughness is getting enabled. You can see this one. See, now the roughness map is added on top of it. Very subtle, anyway. So this way you can adjust your all shaders in your scene. Currently, our displacement is missing. So maybe I'll quickly show you how the displacement is connecting to that areas. For connecting displacement, again, we need one more channel here to connect the displacement. So I'm creating terminal here, displacement. So it's creating one more terminal at the bottom part. Right. So displacement is a bit tricky because we are using a scalar displacement and we have multiple displacements together. So we need to connect all this displacement, right? So connecting PSN once again. So I'm just changing the name to Pixar displacement body. Then, yeah, Pixar displacement. It's connected here. Going to connect to output channel into displacement. Create one more node, PSM again. So please keep in mind, always we need to create PSM node, okay? Then this time it's our displacement shading layer we need to connect. So we need to connect a pixar displacement scalar layer in this case. Then connecting to result to this one to scalar displacement. Now our displacement is converted to scalar values. We'll pull this one slightly out. So I need to connect a lot of network here. Correct. We'll cancel this one for then connecting one more PSN. So this time we are connecting a big texture now. Transform node, it's connected. So I'm just rename to pixar displacement transform. It's necessary to transform because I'm going to connect one more node here. PSN and texture node will be create the basic texture PXR texture of that displacement body displacement map. So this time I'm going to call a texture node here inside. Yeah, then definitely we'll do the same thing calling texture from body main displacement texture. So its main displacement is already been there and accept then UVM then going to yeah. So we have that body displacement main displacement, right? So I'm going to change this name with body main displacement. We are calling the main displacement here. So I'm just pulling here. So we what happened? We need to like we have a merge layer here and we are using like the same body layer with red channel and green channel and combine to form into one set. Then we have another displacement here. Then that displacement is treated like separately as a main displacement. Okay, we'll do that. So for that, I'm just changing the name to red, maybe. So I'm going to call only red channel here. Copy one more round here. Just paste it here. This time calling green channel. So here I'm click here. I'm selecting only red channel because we have already mentioned like red channel, right? So just click on here. Then scalar displacement. Select this guy again. Again, I'm selecting green channel. Click here, scalar displacement. So that displacement is connected to this point. Then we have different layer setups. As I said before, we have the base layer that is not still connected yet. So we are going to connect layer 1 and layer 2. The base layer will be treated as a separate. So layer 1, it's already been enabled and layer 2 will be now enabled. I'm going to connect now with this one. Yeah, it should be result F. Then going to connect layer 1 scalar. Then because it's you see it's connecting to layer 1 scalar. So now I'm going to connect this green channel to layer 2 scalar, which is here. So that's a hierarchy of all that. With one more displacement here. This time we'll connect. Here is one more displacement will be available on C displacement. And change the name to C displacement. Z displacement. Change to Z. Base layer gain, basically. Connecting the gain. This will be driving the entire displacement. So the base layer I will add 1.5 to push the displacement bit. Then this layer maybe 0.25, maybe 0.23, very settled displacement. Then this layer may be 0.25. So these are the secondary layers, right? So we don't want much pull from these two guys. So yeah, that's done. So we need to quickly render and see how things works. There is no big changes. I can see that it's still diffuse, right? So yeah, definitely we need one more node to pull your displacement. So for that, just above this one, I'm connecting a PRMan object statement. It's connecting here. Then you have the self statement. So I'm giving the collection UA, the same collection. I'm going to add it here. Yeah. Then in attributes, displacement. Yeah, you can see the displacement bound. I'll give you a value of 0.2. This will be allow me to pull the displacement off. See, now you're able to see the displacement on top of the character. I think you're able to see now. So for a better understanding, I'll do a quick live render. Because of displacement, maybe it will take some amount of time, but that's okay. It's getting fast. No problem. That's it all about your material adjustment so far. Now the time to connect all our preset shaders. We have a preset of preset shaders already been created here. Pulling here because I don't have time to create all the shaders, right? So anyway, in which ways this will be published from the look dev department. So we need to connect. So we have material for the body and we have the material for horn, teeth, cornea, eyeball. Just ignoring shadow for now. Yeah, connecting all. Yeah. All these materials connected now. Nothing proper here, alignment. Maybe I'll disable this one for now. If you press D on top of any node, it will be disabled. So this channel is bypassed. Okay, back to rendering. We'll see preview render. Yeah. Yeah, I can see the texture is assigned to on part. Yeah, perfect. I'm just canceling this render now. I'm getting proper displacement here. Very nice. And even eyeball as shaders. Yeah, that's okay. I'm just canceling this job now. What's next? So we'll do a quick lighting setups, get an idea how the lighting will be working inside Gaffetry. So we already have a Doom light connected here. I'm using the same setups in which ways. So I'm going to, so we have a material sessions, just like we can find all the parameters like intensity, exposure, color maps, anything that is more related to any other tools, right? So there is no much changes in that. So in this case, I'm connecting my color maps here. Calling a color map. So we have a text HDRI here. And we have, I'll quickly show you, we have different HDRIs available. So, yes. So currently I'm using this HDRI to light up my scene because I'm using a backplate. It's more or less similar to this HDRI background. Check the backplate here. Yeah. So my plan is to integrate my character just in front of this. So I found the same forest kind of environment. Then I just took this one to nuke and grade it into more similar to this environment. So after grading, you can see my HDRI somewhere close to that kind of lighting, just reducing and make it more similar to my background. Then I just converted my HDRI into TEX. So TEX is the native file format. It's usually work with RenderMan settings. Pulling this guy into my scene. Just copy this one. Yeah, yeah, here it is. TEX and accept this. So I'll quickly render this thing, make a live render. So that this way we can visualize quickly. So if you see, my lighting is just like a backlighting setups. For that, I need to rotate my HDRI. Going back to lighting. So I'll quickly rotate my HDRI, maybe to object settings, maybe 45. Yeah, it's coming from this way. Then I'll increase my exposures to 2 maybe. Yeah, I can visualize, the specular highlights and everything here now. Perfect. So it's a part of jungle. Then you can find a top light setups, and then again definitely there's a backlight conditions. If you see my image, backlight this, it's like a backlight conditions, and we have shadows different side. Getting a top light kind of approach here. So I can see that this, there is a subdivision issue going on this one. So I need to fix this before doing the next rendering. So going back to this place, in between I'm going to add an attribute set connecting in between here. And connecting this chrome here. One more path to the gray sphere maybe. The attribute set should be type string. String values we are going to copy. Subdiv mesh. I know it's been like a long process, to do a lighting task, but I don't. There is no other shortcut to find, quickly into that way. Yes, it's subdivided now. Correct. So now this is the right time to move to call my backplate to check along with the backplate. It's very important, right? When I'm doing lighting for that, calling an image read, I can read that image, the backplate, then browse the backplate. Aces CG, and I'll render this one quickly. Yeah. So if I go to my catalog, I can simply see my backplate. So we have an operations here. We can make an underlay for this one. We can place our character on top of this. So we can adjust all our lighting conditions. For that, I just click this guy. So this become my underlay, right? So I'm just selecting this one, dragging here. This is become my underlay. Then whatever happening next time should be adding on top of it. So going back to the, we'll do a preview render. See, I can see my character on top of it. So I'll do a quick live render instead of preview render. Yes, perfect. See, now we can see a lot of white bounce is coming from our plate. So we need to block this plane, and we need to give the same texture map on top of this plane to get the proper bounce, right? So for that, we need to assign one more node like projection, and we need to project the maps, the backplate maps on top of it with the help of camera. So we'll get the same kind of bounce from the ground. So it's very important when you're working in VFX. The projection is very important. So just cancel for a minute here, then going back to here, then connecting Evoca projections node. This is a preset thing. Then in set location for my ground. Yeah, turn on my projection. Then my camera location needs to be added. My render camera should be connected to camera location. Then the image sequence. We don't have any sequence. We have a static frame. So just connecting my TEX, the backplate. Then slide, yeah, 0 is fine for now. We have texture. Then I have 920 1080 resolutions, right? So 920 1080, I'm going to add it here. Then the focal length should be camera basic values like for horizontal aperture. It's all the preset values I'm going to give from my. So we'll get an idea once you export your camera. So we don't have any HDRI projection, so I'm just disabling this guy. I think remaining everything is fine now. Quickly render this one and check it's working or not. I think it's not really coming at getting a too black. Nothing is casting from there. Let's see. Yeah, it is there, but yeah, the projection is now added on top of it, but feel like it's too dark, right? Because I think this texture is not even well neutralized. So that's why we're getting too much black. So in this case, I need, for an artistic side, I need to increase my exposure, maybe 2. That's it. Get some amount of brightness. Yeah, getting some amount of brightness. Just increasing my plate exposures to 2. Okay. So I think this is okay. I'm adding few more lights. Going back to geometry, then I'll add one more PR man light. It's a distance light. Basically, it's a backlight, distance light. Then to reposition my light, so it's this way opposite side. So if I'm going to select anything, this light, I'm not able to see anything here, right? Because this is not really synchronizing well. So for that, to see whatever we are selecting in geometry should be seen in scene graph. So for that, you need to be enabled in and out to synchronize. So whatever you select now, going to be see here. Selecting this guy. So now the pivot and everything is enabled. Going to be opposite direction. Yes, this way here. Just roughly doing the writing. Just this exercise is all about to understand how things are working, not like in the really matter of VFX classes. Right? Yes. Maybe this way here, need to see through my camera perspective. Yeah, my light is somewhere here. Then maybe little bit now. Can scale it to get a better idea. Right. I'll give you an exposure of 2 maybe. Let's see. Yeah. Now I can able to see some highlight on the top part to get more integrate, to your background. Yes. And for a cheek light, we can add, because it's a forest area, that definitely you have a key light on the back side. Then definitely there you have other ambient lights, right, on top. So for that, you can create PR light, disk light maybe. make it bigger. Go into perspective now. Yes, make it a bigger size. Put it on top, right above this one. Yes, yes, direction. Maybe this way down. Any light, this light, or anything we can use. Out. Maybe this way a little bit. So I can still see the influence. Let me check with two exposure. Maybe two will be, no, two is not enough, I guess. Okay, so I can still differentiate some amount of exposure on top. But again, if you see this one, you have a tree. This case, we need a gobo pass just on top of your subject. For that, maybe you can ask your lighting lead. So they will ask other department, especially on layout, they will be placed the random tree for you to get a proper gobo shadows. Okay, so 3 is enough, I guess, because it's more or less it's a backlight. Maybe the backlight, maybe we can slightly increase to 3 again. Get a proper edging. Yeah, I'm getting good edging here. Okay, so now we need to hide the base plane, right? The plane is still on. You can see the projection, we need to hide. So select the projection. There is an option you can hide. The visibility option, make it off. So now the bottom part is getting hidden, right? Yes. So I'm almost getting the output, but again, I'm not, really working on this way because I don't have any other data like HDRI or on-set HDRI, right? So this I just place, to get an idea how my lighting is reacting and my reflection and all. That's it. Nothing much fancy on that. So if you get any chance to get all on-set HDRI, this will be more, you need to exactly match your chrome board and your gray board. So once you match your gray board technically, then the asset should be matched in your scene. That's an aspect we need to be taken care. Okay, perfect. So now I need to give AOVs for this one because right now the AOV is not splitted. We have all three lights together, not able to control in Nuke. So we need to give AOV for these light setups. You have an AOV setups connecting to this one here, AOV setups, but it's showing an error message. So it demands air under pathways. So it's an associated node. So when you're clicking this one, it will be create an automatic synchronization between these two guys. So AOV setups just enabling the basic AOVs. Then pass name you can call anything, beauty or anything. So make it beauty pass. So inside AOVs we can still find different levels of AOVs. So we have to choose, what are the requirements. It's a discussion between you guys and the compositors. So they will tell you what are the AOVs they want for their work. So according to that, we can decide the AOVs and we can put their numbers. So I have 3 lights. So I'm just turning on these guys, multi-light 0, 1, and 2. I'm just placing all these AOVs in separate. So I need to define, before I'm just turning on this one. So I need to define this name. I'm going back to light in this gap for tree, then select any light, then going all the way down to advanced. And there is a light groups. You can define your name. Multi-light 0. Select this guy, advanced, and paste as multi-light 1 and select this guy and go to advanced again, do the same exercise. 2. Now we need to render and check all our AOVs available or not. So for that, I'm just making a live render now. Just want to check it's connected. Yeah, now it's connected. I can see all my primary and different light groups. So I feel this is the right time to launch my render into form. Just canceling now. Yeah, then you can simply select this one here and tab. Then there is a think box and submit a claim. Then you can type your frame number and just submit. So it's been submitted in the form. So once all these operations done from the form, then we can pull back our render. So it's already been rendered. So I don't want to waste any time. So I've already rendered these images. So you can check these images, the primary render. And we have other light groups. See, different light groups. Backlight groups and the additional key groups. So we have all in separate groups. We have in diffuse, all 3 light in separate. Then we have another 3 of specular. So we need to combine all this together in Nuke. So for that, I already created a Nuke file. Just calling with an AOV bundle to call everything together and connecting with my backplate. So you can see that. Then after that, I just create a shadow layer, but it's not really covered on today's classes, but there was a shadow I created and I just add below that. Then going to the final view. Something like this. So, but again, it's not like highly accurate because we have the Cobo pass and everything is missing the first page. Then definitely it's not on set HDRI. So I have a lot of, if I'm getting a lot of time and I can tweak the HDRI, but more or less I created the HDRI somewhere similar to this image. Let this webinar continue. I'm going to pass the screen to Annabelle. I hope you had a fantastic day and thanks to all of you.
Wow, that was a great webinar. I'm sure our enthusiastic viewers have some great pointers to take back. I'd like to thank each one of you for joining us here today. We encourage you to connect with us on social media, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach us through the details mentioned on the screen, and we will get back to you. A recorded version of this webinar will be available to stream on YouTube. So watch out for that and do share it with friends who might benefit from the series. For more of this amazing content, please subscribe to our channels to stay updated. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you soon for the next episode of Learn, Create and Grow. Until next time.